As you can see, for this special occasion, I decided to wear my Arizona iced tea shirt. All we need is a 99-cent sticker. Ooh, this one right here. Right there. Ah, perfect. Hi everyone, it's Michelle Jaelin. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to delve into a topic that I am very passionate about, and that is diversity in dietetics. Before I get into the video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me, and turn on the bell to turn on notifications. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can help be a part of this movement to help increase diversity in dietetics, because we want to make sure that we represent the diverse population that we serve. If you're not from a BIPOC community as well, how can you better engage with clients and people who are not like you? And I'll also provide a little intro on cultural competency to show you where you can start in cultivating more cultural competency in your practice. So please stay tuned until the end for that. The Commission for Dietetic Registration keeps a poll on diversity in the field, and we're not a very diverse field in terms of ethnicity. Black or African American dietitians make up about 2.6%. If you are American Indian or Alaskan Native, which I believe is what they call it in the US, you make up 0.3% of the profession. Dietetics is what they call a pink collar profession. 94% women, 3.7% men, which is not a lot. This topic is not going to be about gender diversity. I want to focus more on ethnic diversity. Maybe a gender diversity video will be something in the future. The profession is over 80% white, and that is truly what is the most representative of the dietetic profession. My first tip is diversify your surroundings. Now you see on Instagram, hashtag diversify your feed. It's kind of like that. And what tends to happen is when we spend too much time with people who are exactly like us, then it stops our growth in a way, and it can become, in a way, kind of dangerous if we're constantly hanging out with people who are just like us. In the profession, there are some things that are like really divisive. There are different, I would say, groups that the profession has broken out into, and it's either like, you're with these people or you're not with these people, or you agree with them or you don't agree with them. And when you spend too much time with people who are just like you, and then your values, your thoughts, your ideas, all the things you believe, and all the people you're surrounding yourself with, it becomes an echo chamber. It becomes an echo chamber, and you never hear back like a different perspective or a different side. So the same thing goes for diversity, is that if we're always hanging out with people who are exactly like us, it stops our growth. And sometimes it means we also have to hang out with people who maybe challenge us. What can really hold us back? This challenge with having these uncomfortable conversations. These conversations are going to be uncomfortable. They always are, but where there is discomfort, there is growth. To get more diversity in the profession, in order to grow, we need to have more of that. And by that also means not being around so many people who think exactly like you, or who look exactly like you, and you are someone who's like from a BIPOC background. I always say that it's important for you to not be afraid to take up space. And I want to share a quote from someone I found really insightful, and that is, if you find too that maybe stepping out and being you makes other people uncomfortable, people don't just meet you or see you or know of you and don't like you. People don't like you because they see a power in you that they don't see within themselves. And this was something for me that was hard to learn for many years. I had a hard time understanding. But if I think, I'm a decent person and somebody doesn't like me, it's not always me, a lot of times it's them. So keep that in mind, and don't be afraid all the time to have to be like everyone else. Like, be yourself and show up and speak out about things, because they're important in order for growth. Now in Canada, we don't have quite as many statistics on that yet. And I feel like in Canada, it's because we have a bit more of a way of going about things, or we have to be really polite about things. We don't have as much race-based data because we didn't want to collect race-based data, because if we talk about race, that makes us racist. And no, it actually does not. We need race-based data, and we need that in order to find out where it is that we need to increase diversity and make that happen. Natalie Rediger, I believe her name is, I might be saying her name wrong. She did a study about diversity and equity in dietetics and undergraduate nutrition in Manitoba. And she found that there are systemic barriers that prevents ethnic minority, so like non-white students, from getting internships and becoming registered dietitians, and this is in Canada. I know there's more research also about race-based data in Canada. My girl Gurneet Dami is doing research on this right now in her thesis about race in dietetics, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that data. My second point is about the topic of the P word. And somehow it seemed to be a bad word, and this is a topic of privilege, and that is learning about it and learning about how your privilege allows you to get further ahead in life or gives you more opportunities that other people who may not have the same privileges may have. So I'll give you an example. I have privilege too, and I acknowledge that. I am an able-bodied person. I don't know what it's like to have to navigate the world as somebody who might be living with a disability because I'm able-bodied. That in itself is a privilege, and people who have disabilities or identify or ability, as they call it in the community, certain struggles that able-bodied people do not have. It's not what I call the oppression Olympics. That's not the game that we're trying to play here. It's just recognizing that you might have certain things that have been given to you that maybe you did not earn that have enabled you to get further ahead in life or given you more access to certain things like education or wealth with privilege. And it's not something that you should feel bad about, but acknowledging that and then getting comfortable around the notion of privilege is one of the first ways in order to move forward, in order to increase diversity in dietetics. My good Asian mom said to me, when you're filming, don't show your ugly stovetop on camera because it's old and it's ugly. So my third takeaway is approaching these relationships with people who maybe you aren't usually very familiar with curiosity and an open mind. Like, we pay lip service to this word, an open mind. Oh, well, I am so open-minded. But do you really ask yourself that? Because this is a question I ask myself too when I'm confronted in a situation where I feel discomfort or I'm with somebody who forces me to feel things that I probably wouldn't feel normally. It's very common that a lot of people, we're all guilty of this because it's human nature, only see things from their own point of view, and they look for things and ideas and whatnot that kind of confirm that point of view. We call that confirmation bias. When you are in a situation where you have to, confront your own bias in some way, you can express your differences of opinion. At the same time, you also have to be open. It's not about just seeing things from your point of view, because ultimately when it becomes a whole debate, it becomes about winning and being right. I think there's so much grace and humility in admitting that you're wrong. Now, cultural competency. How do we practice that? Well, cultural competency is really something I hope that they're teaching more and more now in the dietetics curriculum, but it is learning how to work and interact and serve people who are not like you, understanding people's cultures, having respect for their different cultures, having respect and understanding for the different types of food they may eat that might be different from the kinds of food that you eat, or different from the kinds of foods that science deems to be appropriate and healthy. Here's an example. If you're a dietitian and you are serving a population where the people are not like you, it's important to try to learn more about the culture. I know it's one thing to say, well, science said you should eat, let's say, oats. This is what I'm using as an example. Oats isn't something that this population or this client particularly eats in their diet. You might not be able to recommend it. You might have to recommend something else. Can you? Let's say, for example, it's something that traditionally you don't find healthy, like white rice or something. Are you going to say that that's not good and they shouldn't eat that? Or will you understand that maybe that white rice is really important to their eating and their food and their culture, and that you can look at other things in the diet that you can tweak and change in order to help them be healthier, help them achieve their health goals. Cultural competency starts being open to diversity, and that means recognizing how people might be different from you and thinking to yourself, instead of, me, I'm the dietitian and I have all this knowledge, what can I learn from them? What can they teach me? I hope that's something that gives you a bit of a primer in how to work with populations that are different than you and how to become more culturally competent. This is how I see cultural foods. Do you just want to eat oranges your whole life, or do you also want to eat oranges, bananas, grapes, and spinach and all the really yummy, delicious things? Think of it that way? Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just that you would want to try all the delicious, yummy, healthy things out there. Like I want to too, don't you? So thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you found this informative and interesting. I put some of the links down below if you want to check them out. If you want to see more content from me, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Be sure to ring the bell to turn on notifications. Let me know what you want to see. Leave me a comment below and I will see you in my next video. I'm still wearing the sticker. I totally forgot.